can see things moving and
You can't see momentum. Momentum's not a real thing.
I'm not going to have this argument with you. You're crazy.
It's what you're seeing is variance in a positive direction. They're doing better than average, and UCLA had many games earlier in the season where they did much worse than average. It just so happened that their positive variance came at the right time.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at now. You're looking at the past.
They're not independent events.
They are.
No, they're not. It's the same people doing it over and over again. It's the same people playing basketball and shooting and performing over and over again.
Yeah, but the present is different than the past. You can't tell me that they're the same thing.
That's called variance, not independent events.
How is it not?
Because it's the same people performing the thing that you're measuring over and over again. That's by definition dependent.
So it's not the same thing. So for instance, if I go out there and play golf, but I'm playing better now than I did in the past, how is that not? That doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does. It's just variance. Sometimes you play better than other times, but
no, you get better over time. You can get better.
All right. Yeah, yes, you can, but it's still not. That's still not independent events. That's still practicing. That's called repetition and getting better at the thing that you're doing over and over again.
Right.
It's not independent. It's the same people.
But they're not doing the same thing over and over again. Yes, they're playing a sport, but they're getting better at what they do.
Okay, well, you can't argue with somebody that doesn't believe in definitions of words. So welcome into Right Hand, Left Hand. Josh and I were just having a little conversation there about the 14-point spread in the Final Four game between Gonzaga and UCLA. I wanted to start recording because we were having what I thought was a pretty good conversation, and then Josh's phone went off. So
let me go ahead and turn that down, actually.
Yeah, maybe mute that. I don't know. You're like the people in the progressive commercials. I don't have silent. Everybody does right here.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and do that real quick.
As soon as you have kids, you start turning into an old man, I guess.
Well, shit, man.
Silence your cell phone.
I have to keep it on now. You never know.
So you took both the dogs in the Final Four. You took UCLA plus 14 and Houston plus 5.5. I did the opposite, took both the favorites. And so we each went 1-1. You were right about the Gonzaga game because of positive variance in UCLA's performance, not because of some fictional thing called momentum that doesn't actually exist and is not quantifiable. And then I got the same result with Baylor. It's because you're wrong. So there's no point in arguing because the facts are on my side, per the usual.
Shut the hell up. Let's go on to the next thing.
So tonight, 9:20 Eastern will be 8:20 Central. That's my time. So I get the benefit of the little bit of earlier start time. Can actually get some decent sleep tonight, unlike you folks on the East Coast with the national championship game tonight. Well, I mean, Gonzaga's in Washington, Baylor's in Texas, so that's Central.
I get it.
Yeah, time, I get it. So, believe it or not, the East Coast is not the entire world. So
it's debatable.
Well, you lived in Nashville too, so you know what it's like doing the Central Time grind. I love it for sports because it's still like late enough that stuff's not rubbing up against your work time if you're watching an East Coast team, but it's late enough that it's early enough that you can still get to bed and get some decent sleep. Although you don't get much sleep anyways.
No, I mean now I do. Now that the babies are a little bit older, they sleep through the night pretty easily, so that ain't a big deal. It's just getting them to bed. Beckham stays up till about 10 o'clock now and Eden's always, man. Yeah. So he'll be up for the start of the game and then he'll probably be asleep right after it starts.
Yeah, that is a pretty late start time, but I'm cool with it. Like I said, I'm on Central Time. So spread tonight is going to be Gonzaga minus 4.5. Public right now is slightly leaning towards Baylor. Site I'm looking at right now is got 52% of the bets coming in on Baylor. That doesn't tell you, where the money's coming in. That's just the number of bets. So, and then as always, the public loves the over under is set at 159 right now. I tend to stay away from those, but I did take Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably off of majority of what they saw in the Final Four games, I'm assuming.
Baylor. I looked beforehand. So they put out early lines before the Final Four for all the possible combinations. And before the games, it was Gonzaga -6 for that matchup. So that performance definitely did influence the line. Baylor blowing out Houston by like 20 points. Obviously, that's going to affect the line and it's going to affect the bettors. But I think Baylor's been getting robbed on the point spreads pretty much throughout the tournament. I think they turned in that one loss in the Big 12 tournament against, I think it was Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. And people have really been sleeping on them, but they've been the second best team in the country all year long.
Yeah, I mean, we were going to get this matchup earlier in the year. I believe it got canceled because COVID, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, these are the two best teams. I was riding to lunch with my wife, and I was, By the way, before I have to let this be known, if Baylor wins, my wife will be tied for first in our bracket challenge.
Oh wow! Shout out to Cassidy. Good job out of her. I haven't even looked at mine because I know it's so bad. I'm in last place in all my bracket pools, so I've given up on that, and I'm just trying to make money betting the spreads.
Well, out of ours, neither one of us did very well. I think I'm in like fourth or something. I think me and you are tied. I think actually. But my cousin and Cass are tied for first. Justin needs Gonzaga. Cass needs Butler. So
coming down to the wire.
Yep.
All right, so that'll be high stakes game for them tonight.
Yep. So I'm going to pull for my wife here, and she's going to watch the game, and hopefully Butler gets it done.
Baylor,
yeah. I don't know why I said Butler.
They were in the championship a few years back. Gordon Hayward.
God, I wish he would have made that shot.
Oh man, I know. I was like on spring break in high school watching that game, and obviously cheering for Baylor. I didn't want to see Duke cheering for Butler. I'm doing the opposite. Yeah, I didn't want Duke to win that. But yeah, I went Baylor plus 4.5. I did bet some first half spreads and hit on those in the games this weekend, but the first half spread is 2 points right now. Gonzaga's -2 for the first half. I think I'm going to stay away from that. What I do like to do is just throw a little on the first basket being made, because you can get plus money on that. So I did that a couple of times over the weekend as well. So if you want a little bit of early action, just throw a unit down on the first basket to go in. These are two pretty good shooting teams. I think it's pretty likely that whoever shoots first is going to make that bucket.
Yeah, like you said before, these are definitely the two best teams in college basketball, and we're probably going to see a pretty good game. I even texted you earlier. I was like, if I'm going to get points, I like Baylor getting those points for sure.
Yeah, I wish I'd taken the +6 before that performance that they put in, but
But you know what? Might not be. This game is probably not even the biggest news in college basketball right now.
If you think Roy Williams retiring is the biggest news in college basketball, you're out of your mind. Nobody gives a shit, dude.
The best program in college basketball just had the head
best program in college basketball. Did you see what they did this season? This year that they started out last year?
You're talking about one season. You're talking about 2 seasons out of how many?
In the Matt Doherty years. I love how you people love to gloss over the Matt Doherty years, all the cheating scandals, all that stuff.
Let's be real here.
Cheating scandals that you barely get punished for.
Let's be real here. This is the biggest coaching position that has been available in the last 20 years.
No, Calipari at Kentucky.
Okay, Kentucky.
It's exactly the same thing.
It's the same.
Kansas is the same thing when Roy Williams left, so those are all really the same.
And he left for Carolina.
Yeah, but he went to Carolina.
He did. He was a coach there.
Didn't he go to Carolina? I thought he went there.
I don't know if he went to Carolina. I know he coached under Dean Smith. I'm not sure if he went there.
Whatever. He had a relationship to Carolina that would draw him back there. Let's be honest. It's easier to recruit to Chapel Hill than it is to Lawrence, Kansas.
So you're saying Carolina's a bigger program?
No, I'm just saying it's a better location.
What does it got to do with location? It's a better program. I mean, fucking Gonzaga they're a good program. It's
I
not a
mean,
better Spokane,
yeah,
Washington.
but they don't have the historical level of success that a Kansas or a Kentucky or a Duke or a Carolina does.
Okay,
So
I mean UCLA is a great location. They don't get recruits anymore.
that's true. That entire program has pretty much been run into the ground. Although Mick Cronin is bringing them back. I mean, we just saw. I think between Mick Cronin and them being in the Final Four, I think you'll probably start to see a little bit of a reversal in their fortunes.
You will. I mean UCLA. I mean it's all starts with coaching. I mean really, if you get a good coach in there, which kind of makes me nervous about Carolina is like I'm not really too excited about some of these guys they have that
Well,
that, that they're interviewing essentially.
the probably the top guy on the market was Porter Moser, and OU Lon Kruger retired, and Oklahoma has now hired, as of Saturday, Porter Moser of Loyola Chicago, who of course has had
Right.
two excellent runs, and has managed to recruit some good players to really a small school. So I'm excited to see what he'll do at OU. I bet you would have loved to see him out there at Carolina, but too late.
Well, for me, it's like I know what they're doing. They're going to try and keep it in the family. They want somebody that has some type of tie to North Carolina. I mean,
Nepotism.
that's why Hubert Davis is probably the top candidate. For me personally, I mean, I like Hubert Davis. I think he's a great, assistant coach. I don't know what kind of head coach he is because he's never been a head coach, other than the JV team at Carolina, and that doesn't tell you anything. I personally, I think Wes Miller would be a great hire there. UNC Greensboro's head coach, and he played at Carolina. He brought them to like back-to-back tournament runs. So I mean, I think I like him. And then also, I think if you want like a big name, you go to Jerry Stackhouse at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of success has he had there, though? Like,
Not very good. I mean,
I mean, it is Vanderbilt, so that might be a little bit of an unfair. But typically, if you're going, first of all, I can't really think of an example of like an in-house hire like that where somebody retires and they hire somebody from the existing staff, and that person's gone on to be like hugely successful.
right. I mean, it's tough. I mean, how many times does that actually happen?
Yeah, and typically, where you see results is if you go out and you get a guy from a mid-major, like
I think,
what Shaka Smart did at Texas, or
I mean, really,
Porter Moser.
The only one that I could think of is Bill Guthridge after taking over for Dean Smith and winning a championship.
Was that even with his own players though, or was that with Dean Smith's players and then he tailed off
and
then they replaced him with Matt Doherty and then they were bad?
I'm not 100% sure on that, so I don't.
It was a little before our time.
I think it was the '93 season, so I was like 4. So
yeah, I think that would have been pretty soon after Dean Smith retired, right? So who knows? Hopefully this will give State a chance to snag some recruits though from under Carolina and surpass them. I think Duke will probably wind up, come back pretty strong next year. They typically.
I mean, they've also quite a few players as well, just from this transfer pool, man, where you can automatically leave and go play somewhere else. Is really, I mean, even when Roy before he retired, he's like, "This is gonna be the Wild Wild West," and you're seeing it right now. Everybody's just leaving and they can go anywhere and play right away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with that. Like,
no, I mean,
they have the same rights as any other student, and they're finally slowly starting to break free of the NCAA's ridiculous control over them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they should be paid. I mean,
of course they should.
I mean, I have no problem with that.
Of course they should.
The amount of money that those players bring in, they absolutely should be paid.
Yeah, and it's all going to a bunch of old white dudes on the backs of these young black guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a really good look for the NCAA.
Right.
But anyways, so I am going to take Baylor to cover the spread tonight. Gosh, I guess we should pick an outright winner too, shouldn't we? Do you want to go first on that? Because I know we're both on Baylor on the spread.
I'm going outright Baylor, your new national champions. So I'm going with that, and mainly just because I want my wife to win our little bracket.
Fair enough. I am going to pick Gonzaga. I think they will squeeze out a narrow one possession victory with either, well, the last basket of the game, I think will win the game. And then, whether Baylor gets another shot or not after that, I feel like Gonzaga's good enough that they can kind of control that last 2 minutes, and they just have the size and the talent, as well as Baylor shoots the ball. I just think they'll be able to come up with one stop at the end that'll make the difference in the game. So,
Yeah,
I'm going
Should be-
Gonzaga. Josh is going Baylor. Should be a good game. I feel like that's what you were about to say there.
yeah, it should be good, man. I'm looking forward to it. Even with the late start, I'll be able to watch it in peace and quiet with the kids asleep. So that'll be good.
That's right. Don't get too excited and wake anybody up. But that'll do it, I guess, for us for our brief little NCAA tournament preview show here on Monday on April 5th. We will have a couple of more shows coming your way later in the week. We got a busy week. We took last week off because there wasn't really a whole lot going on. Aside from the Final Four, no UFC card or anything, but we're back into that game this Saturday, and we also have the Masters going on Thursday through Sunday. So big week for us. Looking forward to getting back, talking a little golf tomorrow and a little UFC on Thursday.
Absolutely. I can't wait. We are back. We are getting Doug back. We are back.
See y'all tomorrow.
See ya.